So, name of the 18th chapter is for Elkana. This poem is written by the poet Nissim Ezkel. So I will read the poem first. The warm April evening tempts us to the breezes sauntering across the lawn. We drag our chairs down the stone steps and plant them there, unevenly to sit or rather sprawl in silence till the words begin to come. My wife, as is her way, surveys the scene, comments on a broken window pane, suggests a thing or two that every husband in the neighborhood knows exactly how to do, except, of course, the man she loves, who happened to be me. Unwilling to dispute the obvious fact that she's always right, I turn towards the more attractive view that opens up behind my eyes and shuts her out. Her voice crawls up and down the lawn. Our son, who is 7, hears it, and it reminds him of something. He stands before us, his small legs well apart, crescent moon-like, chin uplifted, eyes hard, and cold to speak his truths in masterly determination. Mummy, I want my dinner now. Wife and husband in unusual rapport, state unspoken thought. Children must be disciplined. She looks at me, I look away. The son is waiting. In another second, he will repeat himself. Wife wags a finger, firmly delivers verdict. Wait, in 5 minutes I will serve you dinner. No, says the little one. Not in 5 minutes, now. I'm hungry. It occurs to me that the boy is like just his father. I love him as I love myself. Wait, darling, wait. Mommy says, wait for 5 minutes, but I'm hungry now, declaims the little bastard. In 5 minutes, I won't be hungry anymore. This argument appeals to me. Such a logician deserves his dinner straight away. My wife's delightful laughter holds three of us together. We rise and go into the house. So I will now explain the summary of this poem. This poem is about comfortable and loving relationship in the family between husband and wife and the child. The author and his family, tempted by a warm April evening, decide to drag their chairs outside and plant them on the uneven stone steps. There they sit, sprawled in their chairs in silence, till wife breaks this silence by commenting on a broken window pane. She suggests a thing or two to her husband, assuming that he doesn't know what he is supposed to do. She might even be aware of the fact that he knows, but it's just the comfort of replaying a familiar conversation they have had many times over the years, which prompts her to tell him these things. Husband doesn't want to contradict her and understands the futility of arguing. He thinks there is no point in arguing with her. He needs to maintain peace. So he does maintain the peace by humorously accepting that she's always right. He says, okay, you are always right. They both accept each other's fault, put up with each other because the bond they share is much deeper than what's seen on surface. Even though she might nag him and he might ignore her at times, though they disagree on many accounts, they both love each other immensely. Their son, who is playing about the garden, hears his mother's voice traveling up and down in the lawn. For some reason, this reminds him that he needs his dinner. He goes here to his parents. He has very little eyes and little legs. Poet describes that. His crescent moon like chin is uplifted, eyes hard, and he speaks coldly, Mother, I needs dinner. At this point, both author and his wife, in unusual rapport, state one unspoken thought that their son must be disciplined. Wife expects her husband to discipline the boy, but he looks away. Before her boy could repeat himself, she raises her finger and tells him firmly that he will have to wait another 5 minutes. When he doesn't listen, he tries pacifying him, but to no avail. The young boy's logic is that he won't be able to eat in 5 minutes because there will not be any hunger in 5 minutes. This argument appeals to the father and reminds him of himself. The father feels that such a logician deserves his dinner straight away. Even the mother is amused by her son's laughs in delight. Both parents end up indulging their son. Her wonderful laughter holds the family together, and all three of them rise to go back into the house. So, this poem was written by an Indian author. His name is Eskel. He was born in Mumbai. He is today perhaps the best known Indian poet of all time. He had his education at Wilson College, Bombay, and later Birkbeck College, London. Professor of American Literature at Bombay University, Ezekiel has written several poems and some plays. And he is also a proficient critic. So there are 6 questions on this poem. First question is comment on subtlety with which the poet captures the general pattern of communication within the family. So we have to see what subtlety has been poet used to capture the general communication within families. The Siminis poem for Elkana has portrayed common scene of any Indian home. On an April evening, strolling in the porch, wife tries to discuss certain issues with his husband. And the husband doesn't want to listen to her, but she listens anyway. He believes that any man in the neighborhood would know a solution to them while their son plays around. The lady of the house is keen on discussing the issues and needs no disturbance and demands her husband to pay attention. Simple style of how conversation takes place between any husband and wife, be it on any topic under the sun. The husband finds talk irrelevant and tries to ignore. He believes the issues the wife is discussing to be too simple to waste his time on and humorously declares that wife is always correct to avoid any further argument. The reader may find it interesting to know that even during the argument, the poet does not forget to mention the love of the wife for the husband. In this way, poet captures the general pattern of communication within family, and it is done very subtly. Questions 2. Poetic effect is achieved in the poem through understatement and asides. Discuss this with examples. So the answer is the effect that an understatement or an aside creates in the vivid visual imagery that descends in the reader's mind while reading the poem. It brings the reader in resonance with the poet's mood while composing. Reader is overwhelmed with the settings through which poet captivates reader's mind. Thus the work of these adjectives is to not just beautify but to create the image of the plot. The details of the background and other surroundings, the details about the characters that infuses the mind of the reader so that it all appears lucid to imagine and feel what the poet probably felt or is trying to convey through her or his creation. So In this poem, when the poet details the environment like on a broken window pane and the rest, an image is imparted of the house the characters live in. Emotional effect is created when the narrator recalls the man she loves who happened to be me. Amidst the argument, it makes it clear that no matter how many debates or discussions happen, the bond between husband and wife is eternal and cannot be challenged. The poet does not forget the little one around and his body language. He describes keenly how with his small legs well apart, he demanded his mother with dinner. The little boy is growing up. His body language reflects his attitude. His crescent moon like chin, uplifted eyes, hard and cold. And so this sentence displays his determination. These all draw deep images of cascading in the mind along while one reads the poem. So in this way, poetic effect is achieved in the poem through understatement and asides. These are two special poetic effects which are used in this poem. So question number 3. How is idyllic juxtaposed with the pedestrian in the poem? The poet Nissim is known for bringing out the extraordinary in the ordinary. His poems are based on ordinary settings and ordinary issues, yet they are extraordinary. The fashion with which he represents common issues are appreciated by many critics. In fact, he was the first Indian poet to have an abandoned romance and write on ordinary issues in poetry composed in English. In his poems like The Night of the Scorpion, he represents the emotion of ordinary human being. And he represents the conversation of ordinary humans. In in this poem for Elkana, Eskill has exploited a very ordinary home situation in which the parents are discussing their household issues. It is just that through various figures of speech such as meiosis, undertones, asides, understatements, he personifies the ordinary that any married couple may undergo or a parent may have for his child. So, thus through his creation, Nissim has given reader that even in common person lies in an idyllic expression. So the fourth question is explains the undertones in the statement. Wife and husband unusual rapid state with one unspoken thought. This above statement explores the subtle relationship between husband and wife. The statement shows that both sides of the relation, while two are probably in a heated argument, yet they both think alike and read each other's thought as well. Other than being husband and wife, they are parents of a boy of 7. They have same feelings towards their child, who they both believed should be disciplined. When the son approaches them demanding the dinner from his mother, she points finger at him, telling him to stay quiet for some time as there was ongoing discussion that he was interrupting. However, the impatient child continued to nag. Both the parents gave each other a look, as they both agreed at least that the discussion was being interrupted, no matter whether the father was least interested. However, later he agreed on that the boy should given dinner immediately due to his wits and logic. But at this time, they both think of the same thing. It is the parenthood that binds them together than their own relation. And just an exchange look was all they needed to read and what the other one is thinking, to realize that it was exactly the same. So, next question is, what makes the urgency of child's demand seem logical? So, answer is, child is young and impatient. When he hears the mother singing things with the father, on hearing her voice, he gets reminded that he is hungry. So he goes up to her asking for food. Even on being gestured by her mother to wait for 5 minutes, he demands food, throwing his logic at her that he will not be hungry anymore after 5 minutes. The argument is appealing to his father. He feels that a boy so young who is such a logician deserves dinner straight away. The urgency with which boy demands and made wittiness makes mother laugh. This joy holds three of them together. Mother then agrees to serve the dinner. They go inside the house. So next question is, explain the undertones in the statement wife and husband in unusual rap. No. The, so the next question is, comment on capitalization of all the words in the line. Children must be disciplined. So this is a line from the poem. Capitalization means action of writing or printing capital letters. In poem, this is like a poetic effect. This is not usually used in this poem. So this effect means first word in every sentence is capitalized, and so is pronoun I. Children must be disciplined. In this line, all first letters of all words are written in capital word. Children's is also written in capital C. Must is also written in capital M, and discipline is also written in capital D. So the capitalization dictates that this sentence is a very immediate and like an important sentence from the poem, and that's the reason this the capitalization is used in this sentence. This sentence means explains the similar thought in both minds of the wife and husband when they speak to their son who wants dinner immediately, and they state one unspoken thought that children must be disciplined. So this sentence is capitalized to show its importance, and that's the reason capitalization is used. So this was the understanding of the poem, and beneath this poem there is a limerick. Limerick is a small 5 line poem expressing a single thought. It is usually funny with a punch or joke in the last line. In fact, the limerick is to poetry what slapstick is to comedy. So, limerick is not actually a poem, it's just a small 5 line poem. And the rhythmic scheme of limerick is usually A A B B A. A means first two lines match with each other, BB means third and fourth lines match with each other, rhyme with each other. Again, fifth line rhymes with first one. It starts again. One reason why limerick is popular is that it almost anyone can try this. Anyone can try limerick. So there is one example of a limerick is given beneath the original poem. So I will read the example now. A novice was driving a car. When down the road his son said, Papa, if you drive at this rate, we are bound to be late. Drive faster, he did, and they are. Earth's plan had a hopeful beginning, but and there are actually five examples of the limerick. The first example is the novice who is driving a car. The second example is Earth's plan had a hopeful beginning, but man spoiled his chances by sinning. We hope that the story will end in Earth's glory, but at present other sides is beginning. You can clearly see this limerick has only five lines and it's easy to make and easy to learn and also easy to understand. So the limerick are that's the reason limericks are widely used. So example number three is there was once a man from Peru who dreamed he was eating his shoe. He woke up with a fright in the middle of the night and he found that it was perfectly true. This was also a limerick. It has five lines, and you can see that first two lines match with each other, third and fourth line match with each other, and again fifth line match with the rhythmic ending of the first line. So again, there is another example. There was a teacher named Mr. Brass who was pleased with an unruly class. They slept and snored and completely ignored theorems like Pythagoras. So the teacher named Brass and who is blessed with unruly class. These two sentences rhyme with each other. They slept and snored and completely ignored. These sentences match rhyme with each other. And theorems like Pythagoras. This sentence again rhymes with the first sentence. In this way, limerick creates a beautiful poetic expression. So it's just five lines poem, but it expresses every single thought, and it's usually a funny with bunch of joke. So this limerick is not widely used, but it's widely made and it's easy to make. So that's the reason it's famous in the folks.